Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. Today we'll be creating this Halloween cake in the form of an exploding cake with spiders crawling out. You'll need your cakes and some dark chocolate ganache. This is dark chocolate by Nestle. I've added in cream and I'll have the recipe listed in the description box below and in the eye icon up top for you. While the ganache is setting, I'm going to take some black fondant, roll it into different sized little balls, and then I'm going to squish them, give them a slight oval shape, and taking some logs of very thin, very tiny fondant, I'm going to roll it out to about 2 centimeters or so in length and then pinch it between my fingers to create a really sharp triangular sort of point at the top. Stick them to your ovals with a little bit of water, pressing them down firmly to attach. 4 on one side, 4 on the other side, and that completes your little fondant spiders. I created about 9 of these, although I think I only ended up using about 8. If you like, you can add little eyes at the very front, and then allow these spiders to set overnight if you can. You may also want to transfer them onto some baking paper just to make sure they don't stick to your plate. This is a 6-inch cake that I'm using and I'm filling in with that dark chocolate ganache. I've also mixed in about a cup or so of buttercream, and that just makes it a little bit easier to work with, especially when you're covering your cake with fondant. I feel like it gives you a little bit more time to play with it, to spread it around before it sets. If your cake is really cold and you're icing a cake with just dark chocolate ganache, it'll set really fast for you. So do yourself a favor, add just a little bit of buttercream to buy you a little extra time and make it even more spreadable and easy. Smooth out the sides once you create that crumb coat. And then when you're happy with the finish, bring the lipper frosting towards the middle. You can then pop this into your fridge for a good half hour or into your freezer for 10 minutes. And then from there, you will create your final layer of frosting. So this is just the same batch, going over the top, spreading it out and over the sides, and then working on the side of your cake as well. Again, because it's buttercream in here, you can take your time, making sure all the areas have been filled. Smooth out the sides until you're happy with the finish, and bringing that lipper frosting in for the last time. Before I pop it into the fridge to set, I'm going to take a little circle of red fondant and stick it right in the middle. Into the fridge for at least 2 hours if you can, and then apply either just a little bit of water or vegetable shortening to help your fondant to stick. This is a baking paper circle that I've cut out, stuck it to my fondant with, again, just a little bit of shortening. And then I've taken fondant, colored it red with lots of gel food color, and now I'm rolling it out with cornstarch just until 3 or so millimeters in thickness. Drape it over the top of your cake, press out any air that's trapped at the very top. You could do this with your hands or with a fondant smoother. And then working quickly, you want to undo those pleats by pulling them apart at the bottom and massaging the fondant onto your cake. I like to work around the cake, spinning it as I do this. Some people like to work just in one section at a time until the fondant reaches the base and then they move on to the next section on the cake. I find it gives it time for the fondant to dry, so you get a lot more elephant skin and tearing that way. So it's probably a good idea to go around the cake bit by bit. Cut off the excess at the base, and then use your fondant smoother to smooth it out onto your cake and create those nice sharp edges. I like to clap 2 of the fondant smoothers together at the very top to help pinch and create that sharp edge. On that little circle indent that we have, we're going to take a really sharp knife and mark in a cross, and then travel in the opposite direction so that we have 8 incisions in total. This is going to create that exploding effect on our cake. You can take the back of a brush or the actual bristles of a brush to help you grab the fondant underneath, peel it back around that point, and do the same for all of the other little notches. Remove the baking paper from the center and then gently press that fondant to meet up with a little fondant circle. You can paint the inside of that if you like. I decided to do that a little bit later, but you can definitely do it now. Grab your spiders, which should now be nice and set, and arrange them in the middle of the cake. I've also taken a little bit of ganache, piped it onto the very bottom of the spiders, and then attached them to the side, traveling down the cake and on the very top as well. If you're going to have a little sign in the middle, make sure that you measure out where to place the spiders so that they're framing your sign. And then as a little finishing touch here, you can add a ribbon at the base of your cake just to hide any imperfections like I have here. I ended up cutting a little bit too close to the cake and it revealed a bit of ganache. I secure my ribbon on with a pin. You could also use double-sided tape, sticking the ribbon to itself instead. And then from here, create that little sign. This is a fondant embossing presser that I have. I do sell these on my website. I'll make sure to link it in the description box below. I'm placing it onto a 3mm thick panel of fondant and really pressing it down with the hands or with a rolling pin, and then cut out the sign with a cookie cutter. This is gold luster dust that I'm using with a little bit of rosewater spirit. I've taken a very thin brush and created this edible paint, and then just gently traveling along the raised section that says Happy Halloween. You can do this in a few different colors as well. If you can't use rosewater spirit, by the way, you can use lemon juice or white vinegar. These are both pretty acidic, so they evaporate quickly as well. Color the spiders in a different color. I just used straight up black gel food color. I didn't dilute it, it just went straight on with that. Let it dry for about 10 minutes and then stick it to the front of your cake with a little bit of water. This is where I was like, I want the center to be a little bit more doom and gloom, so I painted that black as well. Reposition your spiders. And your cake is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this little design and give it a go. The spiders can be made ahead of time as well, by the way. They do take a little bit of time to create, so I do recommend doing it a few days in advance or even a few months in advance, storing them in an airtight container at room temperature. If you recreate this, I would love to see it. Send me your photos, #Rosie'sDessertSpot, so I can check them out. Feel free to subscribe for more tutorials, and we'll catch you in the next one.